Good flying, Daniel.
Hello and welcome back. Today we're not doing a Daddy and Daniel's adventure video, but we are doing an indoor adventure because it's raining outside. Today we are going to make this old broken drone into a flying power glider. Let's try it out together. Are you ready? As you can see, that blade is not spinning because it's broken.
How did it break, Daniel?
Well, I accidentally flew it into a tree.
Yeah, and it was in the tree, wasn't it? And this one was held by the tree, and it burnt out all of these cogs, and it burnt out the motor.
And the controller stopped working because it literally couldn't stop that blade, so that blade just got completely churned up in the tree.
Right, so what are we going to add to it to make it a glider, to make it a powered glider?
We are going to add a plane to these wings,
So we've got a collection of broken planes up there, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we're going to take maybe the rubbish grey and red one from Lidl that never flew very well, and we're going to try and power it. So let's see how we get on, shall we?
First, you need to find the centre of gravity with the glider. We've found the centre of gravity.
Let go. Not quite. If you look, we've done it on a saw, because look, when we've got the centre of gravity we can just sort of pull it along like this, just one little pull. And that'll mark it. We've got a little mark. There we go. C-O-G. What's that stand for, Daniel?
COG, centre of gravity.
Good boy. There we go. And where are we going to put the propellers on the glider?
We're going to put them on the top of the wings, because otherwise in the first landing they'll just be ripped off.
What's the other reason we're going to put them on the top of the wings?
Because it will just give it more lift. And
because more air and faster air goes over the top of the wing, doesn't it? So if you put the propeller on the top of the wing, it'll speed up the air over the top and provide even more lift.
Yeah. Daddy is now dismantling the drone so we can use the parts to build the glider. We are about to free the drone from its confines of its body.
That's all it is. So we're going to use these two rear motors. So we need to, while we're taking this apart, we need to make sure that we know which bit is forward and which bit is backwards. So I've marked rearwards when we know the switch on this quadcopter is at the back.
Yeah.
So we don't need our front motors. One of our front motors is one of the ones that was broken anyway. With everything switched off, we can safely snip the wires to the front motors. We can keep our working front motor for future projects, and our non-working front motor we can chuck in the bin.
I'll just...
So we're going to use part of this upright high enough over the wing to not hit the propeller. So we'll work all that out. We might screw this back together again and then saw it at the right place. The two arms that we're going to need. We're going to need some tiny wires like these. So I'm going to have a look in this old USB cable, see whether there's any little data wires in there. So we look in here. Looks like there's a few really small lightweight wires, which is all we need. We don't want it to be too heavy. Look at those, perfect. So we'll use these. A really important thing to remember is this circuit board needs to remain horizontal. This has got accelerometers and inclinometers and things like that in it, and if we mounted it vertical or on its side or something like that, it would send the propellers haywire. So this always has to be horizontal. So we're going to cut a little platform here. So just a little horizontal platform in here, I think. We're cutting out little sections here for our navigation lights. I've isolated these wires from each other with some heat shrink. These are the wires to the battery. The battery's quite heavy, I'm going to put it underneath. I've drilled all the way through the fuselage. I'm going to put the heavy battery underneath the plane somewhere. Maybe make it adjustable so I can adjust the weight fore and aft, get it exactly where I want it. There we go. These little fellas here, they're going to be my wing lights. So I don't think that's really far enough away. So I'm going to extend these wires, I'm going to carry them all the way to the end of the wings. I'm going to put some little covers here, streamline them all into the wings. Quick note on how we're going to join our wires. So for instance, here's our battery wire. I've left this nice and long so we can adjust where the battery's going to be up and down the plane. So first we strip our wire. You can burn it or you can strip it with a wire stripper like this. About 1 centimetre off each one. Twist both the wires 3 or 4 times. Slide a bit of heat shrink over. If you haven't got heat shrink, you can just wrap it with insulation tape afterwards. As long as these 2 wires, the bare bits, don't touch, or any pairs of wires don't touch where they're joined, that's fine. So we'll twist it together best as we can with our fingers. Ideally, twist it a couple of times with pliers at the end, just to get it nice and tight. Fold that back, slide the heat shrink back over. We use the tightest heat shrink that we can get that will fit the wires. Then finally, making sure we don't fire our heat gun at the plane and melt the plane. Managed to cut these pods out, following along the moulding inside. I was quite fortunate I was able to use that, and they are standing up nicely. So they should hopefully glue to the wing quite nicely with a bit of hot glue like that. Cut a little notch in the side to let the wires out onto the inside of the wing. Just put a little dab, it'll focus, a little dab of hot glue, which I'm just waiting to harden, just to hold it on the inside, just so the wires stay out of the way. I don't have to lead the wires through after this is all glued on. Here's where I'm going to put them on the wings. These marks that I first drew here, these are level with the centre of gravity of the glider. I decided to move these back a bit because they're very front heavy with the motor. So I'm going to put them a centimetre or so further back. I'm going to attach them with hot glue because they're almost certainly going to need repositioning. With hot glue you can just get the air gun, heat it up a bit and then reposition them, because we'll almost certainly get it in the wrong place to start with. So the glue's gone hard. I was going to put a little bit of fishing line or string to the back of the wing to take the load from the props, but this is so solid. I guess the hot glue must melt the polystyrene a little bit. That's really going to be fine as it is. I mean, you can pick up the whole thing by its props, so that's seriously strong. It's looking good as well. I think it's going to look amazing. I hope it flies. So here it is, ready for a test flight. I just switch it on. I've put these little guards off the drone back on, just in case we have a bit of an incident with it and land it upside down. Got the batteries all tied on. So yeah, all ready to go. It's got exactly the same balance as it used to. It feels like you could just chuck it as a glider still. So yeah, here's how it works. Our controller, and down and back to reset it, and start land. There it is. It goes that way, that speeds up. It goes that way, that one speeds up. It should balance it. And then at full throttle, that's hopefully how it'll steer. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
That was a fun build, but
Will
it
fly?
2, 1.
It flies. It flies. Will it turn? Oh yes. Oh yes.
I can't believe it's an actual homemade aeroplane that works. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's an actual homemade aeroplane that works. I can't believe it. Hi, dude. It
fly.
I can't believe it's an actual homemade aeroplane that works. I can't